Let's bring in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor John Mobley, get some thoughts on the state allegations. John, good morning to you. Tell us what you're thinking as you're watching this, please.
Well, Julie, as always, I got to call it like I see it. I think this prosecutor certainly has a strong command of the facts and the details. It's very impressive that she can recall that degree of detail without any notes at all, without taking a break. However, with that, I think I would be mindful of the fact that the jury can only process and retain so much information. And if it were me, I would have liked to see her slow down just a little bit and maybe use some visual aids, some exhibits as she told that story. I just still think that although the facts are clearly horrible and the evidence seems on its face fairly overwhelming, I still think that the story could have had a greater impact if she'd used some visual exhibits during her opening statement.
I agree, John. I agree. And jurors expect to see that technology incorporated. And even if she didn't want to use digital technology, she could make it really simple and do some photos and an easel. Sometimes that's really effective, just showing the pictures of the kids, the pictures of the parents, letting the jury see how. What I would have done as I'm talking to you, the idea came to me, 4 big easels, and put those 4 big pictures up one by one by one and let the jury see it. Yeah, that's a great idea to enhance these horrible details. John, on these facts, I'm just waiting to see what the defense has to say here. Talk to me, please, some ideas you have that we may see coming when the defense gets its turn.
Well, I've been looking, and I have not seen anything, and the defense is being pretty tight-lipped. I think, of course, as always, as a basic, whenever you come up with a defense, it's got to be a clear, plausible theory by which if the jury believes that, they can find the defendant not guilty. It's going to be tough in this case because, when you look at all the defenses that apply to a murder case, self-defense doesn't apply, of course. In this case, he'd have to argue that perhaps the physical evidence is not solely consistent with this defendant's guilt. That's going to be a tough one. Based on the physical evidence in the case, does not appear to be any type of insanity or mental health defense. So I'm really kind of struggling to figure out what type of defense they're going to present in this case that's going to be plausible. That's something by which the jury can say, yeah, that makes sense. Even if you believe the state's evidence, I can still see how there's reasonable doubt that this defendant committed the crime. So I'm somewhat stymied on this one.
Yeah, thank you for that, my friend. Plausibility. Yeah, you're right. Anybody can fashion a defense, but is it going to be plausible, believable, something that the jury can hang its hat on? John Mobley, stand by, please. We'll hit a break. When we come back, we'll see the defense opening statements. There's a look at the defendant as we go to break. Boy, that looks like a look of worry to me. That look on his face, that does not look like confidence he's displaying. We'll watch together live when we come back.